Oh my gosh! It's the Eric Show, hosted by Eric Johnson and his sidekick Najee Elamine. Hi Eric, how are you doing today?
I'll make sure and cut that part out. But anyways, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the third episode of the PNG podcast. My name is Najee, along with my co-guest / co-host, Eric. Thank you all for the support you've been giving us throughout the first two episodes that we put out. Really appreciate it. And make sure if you enjoy this type of content, you go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. But we're going to go ahead and get started with our next topic. The topic for this week is going to be, should you play sports in college? And this is a more general question, I'm sure, but I want to make sure that I pertain this towards HBCU students, because I know that the environment within HBCU athletics is usually a little bit different than those who goes to a PWI. And Eric and I are both former college athletes. You know, me a little bit more than Eric, you know, because he was a little bit trash when he was playing. But we both have played college sports, and so I just want to get everyone's opinion on it so we can see where we stand. So Eric, you want to go first? I always let you go first, but you know, maybe you got something new to offer.
Yeah, I think it is important to play college sports and not necessarily being on a collegiate team, but also intramurals. Intramurals is a big part of college sports. I think for like small HBCUs, it might not be as great experience as it is on bigger campuses. But overall, I do think it's a great experience, and I know my first year here, playing intramural soccer, also being on the tennis team here at Rush College, that it was a great experience. It kept my love for the game even after playing in high school. So I think it's a really good experience.
And yeah, just a little background on myself. I played baseball for my first 2 years. While Eric's over there making faces and everything, I played baseball for my first 2 years, and then I called it quits after that. Been doing a couple of different things afterwards, but I definitely had a good time with my entire college baseball experience. I never really thought that I'd be playing baseball this far of a level, and that was kind of just a whole new perspective in things, because you know, in high school you usually stick around in your state unless you play travel ball or AAU or something, and you may go around different places, but it's a completely different experience when you're playing within college, especially ball down south, because here in Mississippi, we went to places like Alabama, Arkansas, Louisiana. We were just traveling day in and day out. It felt like I was never at school, never in class. So it's a little bit difficult to pick up on like classwork and everything. So and that's one of the main points I want to talk about, is that I'm not going to say that you shouldn't play sports in college, but I do want to give a couple cautionary warnings for those who plan on doing it. And so one thing for me that I really noticed the difference from jumping from high school baseball into college baseball was that it really became almost like its own job. And what I mean by that is, when you get into the workforce, and especially if you have a 9-to-5 job, you'll soon realize that it seems like your life revolves around it, you know, for better or worse. And that's kind of how it is with college sports. You're going to eat, sleep, everything in between that sport. And just for like an example, it was probably took about 5 or 6 hours out of my day every single day just to either practice weightlifting, maybe running, maybe we look at some tapes or go over different plays, signs, etc. But every single day was something new with baseball. So I think that's something that people have to kind of look out for, is that, are you ready for this upper level? Are you ready for this upper level of play where you really have to dedicate and commit yourself to it? Like Eric, how long do you think it took for you, maybe on like a daily or like a weekly basis, like to get adjusted to like the more demanding schedule?
I think it was like really, it was really challenging. I think being involved on campus, I was a lot less involved with like clubs and organizations. So, or I took like a lesser role just so that I could get so I could do practice, so I could do work study. Practice on my own. Practice was like 2 hours. It wasn't as demanding as it was for you guys, because our coach was like, he's also coaching men's basketball. So we had a pretty open schedule. But yeah, generally I do think it depends on, if your coach is coaching one sport, which might be kind of rare at a smaller school. You might have that more demanding schedule. He can pay more attention to you guys, or if you have more than one coach. But I think for some sports, you might share a coach with another sport, so that the school can stay on a certain budget and stuff like that. So I think you got to take all those things into consideration too.
Right. And so, especially even with like sports who travel a lot more, because I know Eric played tennis, yeah. Right? And I know that your sport, people often like came to Russ, because people often came to our college so that they could play there, because we have courts. Well, when I was playing, we didn't always have that most adequate baseball field, and so we oftentimes had to travel to other people's stadiums and everything. So really, we only had probably around 5 or 6 home games the entire year. So it was just a really demanding schedule, always on the move, etc., etc. But I definitely want to like put this out there that if you have like aspirations of playing in college, I wouldn't try and let anything deter that, especially if you really have potential on going to the next level. Because I think that like the overall statement is true, and I'm gonna have Eric weigh in on this. I believe that if you're good enough, the people will find you, like scouts and everything. And that's kind of a discussion that we'll get into later with bigger talents, more high profile talents going to HBCUs. But I think that if you're just, someone who's looking to upgrade your game, I believe that even if you go to a smaller school, it's still going to give you opportunities to either go somewhere else bigger, or, have people still come and scout you out. So what do you think about that, Eric?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think for maybe Russ being in NAIA, I know that the NAIA have some combines or some type of workout days for students in certain regions that allow them to get exposed. And there's agencies out there that help you. I know I used one of those when I was when I was looking to play college sports. It was tended for soccer. I didn't think I was gonna play tennis in college. That was being helpful. I decided to come to Russ more for the academics and the affordability. So I think those things goes into perspective. I think it's a totally different level if you are part of the not NAACP, but the NA, in whatever it's called, the other place, the one that don't treat black people well, that don't pay people at all. But it's a totally different level for that. I can't really talk about that. But for these smaller schools, bigger like combines, they group them together for that. Yeah.
Okay, and so then with the last last quarter of the show, I want to try and explore this aspect, because I think me and Eric both kind of ran into it. Maybe we'll bring on somebody who's still playing at another episode or something like that. But when do you think is the time when it's okay to maybe call it quits for this chapter of your life? Or when is there a time where you think that you should keep on pushing forward and try harder to get to your goals and aspirations? And you know what, I don't let you speak enough, Eric, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this part away. And I'm gonna say, for me, I think it's when the fun leaves the game, because I've definitely had coaches reiterate this many times. My college coaches, high school, even before then, they say when the game stops being fun is when you should stop playing. And I kind of fully agree with that. It was just times where I was on the field and I'm like, I like what I'm doing, but it seems like I could be doing something else with my time, or maybe I don't have the time to dedicate that I used to, and so I can't really hone in on my skills. And that's when I think it may be time to close the book on that chapter. But I wouldn't say do this at all at in an overnight pace, because if you try and make a big decision very quickly, then I think you may end up regretting it. But as long as it's really in your heart and you know that you have something waiting for you on the other side, then I think it's okay. But on the other hand, I don't think it's okay to quit just when times are rough. Just because, difficulties are going to happen. You're going to have busy schedules. You may get a bad grade here and there. And that's when the time I think it is to bunker down and really start going hard. But what do you say about that, Eric?
You know what I say? You got to be like this.
The worst part is I can hear you all the way from where I'm at too.
Two. You gotta set up. You got like two. You got the back. You got the backhand. Boo.
You want to tell him who usually wins when we play tennis, even though you play.
But I be whooping.
That's a lie. I play tennis too. You can't just don't act like that.
I challenge Najee on national radio nationally. I challenge you to a game.
Challenge me to a game. Hey, we get a camera crew out there. We can go a couple sets. That ain't no problem
fat,
for me.
So he can't move as fast as he used to be. So I'm gonna wipe the floor with him.
It don't matter. Hey, my front hand's still as strong as before. Don't try me.
He can't play the net. All I gotta do is use my short game. He's not gonna be able to react that fast.
You're right. Use your short game because you short, boy. Use your short game. You're absolutely right.
I'm 6'1". He's like
you like 5'5".
I'm 6'1".
You 6'1". You 6'1" in your dreams.
I will dominate.
Don't let these little women out here hype your head up saying you 6'1".
No women hype my head up. It's one woman in my life. So
it's one woman in your life. Don't let your mom hype your head up, bro.
You know who she is. But yeah, don't worry about all he's saying. You know, he'll look sad. You know, You gonna answer the question, or you gonna just try and roast me? See, he already forgot the question. All right, I'm putting the podcasting position up on Indeed, y'all. So just look out for that because Eric is not on his game. But my question to you was, when is it okay to put up the gloves in a sport, and when is it time to keep going? I think maybe during a time like this, like a pandemic, there's a time to keep going. You know, you didn't finish off on a strong note, and I think you want to go on your own terms. I think, and when you say that question, it kind of opens it up to maybe you might not necessarily have to play. You might start coaching. You never know. It could have been last year, could have been your senior year, and you end up graduating. Maybe now you become a grad assistant. You can start your coaching career. You never know what it leads into. So, just maybe you are done playing the game, but how can you still be involved? You might just want to be a manager or something of the sport. You might want to be. I know some schools have student coaches. Some schools have grad assistants. I just think you have to decide for your own basis what is important for you and how can you finish strong in that scenario. But I think just leaving it alone and not doing anything with it is a bad thing. I think you should have some type of peace, because for me, unfortunately, when I left high school, I didn't finish strong with soccer. But then my first 2 years in college, I was able to get internships that allowed me to coach soccer and on a professional level, and also do it in my community. So that's what I mean with strong finish.
Definitely. All right, Eric, I'm putting you up to the task though. So when I come out with 2 rackets and a couple tennis balls, don't be looking the other direction.
He be
what?
He don't be for real. It'd be taking like 18 days to do a podcast episode, so I definitely don't think he gonna want to do a tennis match.
Not all of us can just sit in the room and be on the phone with our friends and everything. Some people got work, and I'm finna end the episode, so you can't say otherwise. All right, but thank you all for listening to the 3rd episode of the PNG podcast. Please like, share, subscribe on this channel so that you can continue watching this type of content. And if you enjoyed it, be sure to also leave a comment below to let us know that we're doing something right. So thank you again, and have a good one.